Hey everyone, it's Linguist. So today I want to talk about. Well, I'm gonna actually take a different route than usual. I'm gonna use ChatGPT. Oh, hey Keisha, what's up? Just as I've been talking to you. Hello. I want to actually use ChatGPT to kind of get all the information that we can go by because I want to talk about like Bashar and his teachings and like a bunch of other stuff, but I want to kind of like play it by ear, and so we'll go from there. So let's see. Whoa. Spelling. I think you spell with doer. Oh my god. um, let's see. This is gonna be interesting. Oh, this is pretty cool. This is gonna be interesting. Okay, so let's see. You are a non physical consciousness having a physical experience. That is definitely definitely what it feels like anyways. It's kind of interesting because like how he was describing it is like your body is within your soul, not the other way around. So it's we got it like backwards, but how he explains is that it's actually the focus is within our soul, which is kind of interesting because like how, let's say, a body dies, right? And so it feels like the soul is leaving the body, but it's like our perception of it. So I don't know how exactly that works, but it's like maybe a body is leaving a soul is what makes me think of it. But you know, it's our physical perception of it is kind of interesting. You chose to be here, and your essence is unconditional love. Ecstasy is your birthright. Now, this is kind of an interesting point right there. Ecstasy is your birthright. And I actually agree with that. And I think I heard either Ra was saying or Bashar that, I think it was Ra, that they said that like the universe is vibrating at that frequency of like constant ecstasy, which kind of blew me away, but that makes so much sense, which is why manifestation is absolutely instant, is because the vibration is so high, it feels like you're just constantly ecstatic about everything. So that's pretty cool. Your highest purpose is to be yourself and live fully. I totally believe that because the more I was letting go of negative belief systems, the more I was settling into being rather than doing. And so that kind of made me feel and realize that it was actually my purpose to just be myself, be as happy as I can be. Which is ironic, is because we came here to experience something other than happiness, but it's like in that forgetting is when you begin to remember that happiness is actually what you are. It's just that growth happens is where there is a perceived lack of happiness, but that's when you're like, oh, but I am actually happiness, and you transmute that darkness back to light, and you remember that you are the light. So there is that. You always have free will and the freedom to choose. This one is very interesting because, the like I had so many questions about belief, free will. And I was even like putting it in my head of like, well, how does that work? The creator became aware of itself and also realized that it had complete free will to do just anything it wanted, and so it invested itself in experiencing this manyness and infinity that it is. And so it's like the very first primary distortion that it is free, and then it can make any choice it wants. And so then the next distortion of the creator is love. And then the third distortion, primary distortion, is light. And light is manifested version of love. So love is non-manifested, and then light is manifested. And so it's like when free will is acting on love is when we get light. So that's pretty cool. And another point about this is that, you have the freedom to choose anything you want, but because there's a belief, like in our society, that you have to choose specific things so that you're successful, so that you are, feeling good or whatever. But then it puts you in this sort of conditioning where you feel like you have to do certain things, otherwise you're just gonna fail and it's not gonna work out, right? But that's complete nonsense. But because we were raised thinking that way, it feels like it. And because it feels like it also feels like we don't really have a choice. But we always have a choice. And the more we raise our vibration is when we really realize that there is actually an array of choice that we have. Is just being able to perceive all those choices is where it gets really interesting. Because if you are locked in on one choice, you're basically blocking out all other choices. But if you allow yourself to come to a place of gratitude that you are where you are, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, what are the choices that are available to me right now? So you begin to ask those questions. What else is there? Until you start asking those questions, you can't really see anything because you are in the mindset that there is nothing there. But you have to ask those questions so that you can actually begin to perceive them, because they're on a different level vibrationally. So once you start asking the question, you shift into that reality where there is the answer for you. So you always have to ask the question. And what I do, like when I have the question, I would usually ask it in my mind repeatedly, or I would write it down. That way the precision of the intention and the emotion is more locked in energetically towards what I want. So that when I speak, for example, if my energy is not really settled towards a specific emotion, then it can be like this. But if I, for example, want just one emotion involved, then I start writing down, and it's more like grounded. It's more grounded into what I want to receive, basically. I kind of want to turn my AC on and put like things on. One moment. I was like right in the conversation here. Well, okay, so where was I with this? Um, yeah, so basically, if you want to perceive something in your reality, what you want to do is you want to write it down. You want to write it down as it is for you. It's like imagine something beautiful for yourself, and then write it down as it is in your mind, as it's beautiful, as if it were already your reality. So, like the other day at work, I wanted to kind of feel more detached from other people's energies and just kind of be more present with myself and stuff like that. And I imagine myself sitting in like a meadow filled with flowers, and I could just see the sun shining, and my hair was just kind of like waving everywhere, just being blown by the wind, just kind of slightly. So it's like in a slow motion. It was really important to see slow motion, because in that slow motion I felt more presence with myself and the creator. So it was just feeling really calming and really relaxed. And I imagined gently smiling, and it just opened my heart so much. I felt so good afterwards. It was amazing. And so I just kept on doing that to maintain that state of being. And so I was really, really present with myself. So I really enjoyed that. So that's how you exercise your free will. You can choose absolutely anything you want. You have so okay, this is a very important point. You have absolute freedom to choose what kind of thoughts you think. You may not have absolute freedom in regard to the circumstances that are happening, but it doesn't matter because when you think certain things and you kind of live that reality of what you think, that which is on the outside will only really be reflecting to you what you think and what you feel. So basically, instead of focusing on what is out there, focusing within on what you're thinking and kind of disciplining your thoughts towards what you want to explore, what you want to experience, is going to actually reflect that in your external world. So the more you focus your thoughts intentionally towards what you want, is what you're going to basically see on your outside world. But at the same time, you like whenever you are in an aligned state of being, you kind of want to act on that excitement so that you ground that energy into action so that there is momentum that keeps going towards like it's like when you get the momentum going, the universe brings you more of what matches what you're doing, basically. So you just gotta maintain that state of being as much as you can so that the momentum just keeps going, keeps going. And then the synchronicity will bring you more of what matches your current state of being. So, for example, if I'm in a state of being of passion, and I maintain this state of being consistently, then that which matches my vibration will come to me all the time because I have, for example, the intention set to serve others through teaching and things like that. So if I'm in the state of being and my intention is active, then someone will reach out to me or someone will notice something and say something, and then it will just perfectly match my state of being. So it's all about my intention, the thoughts I'm thinking, and then the choices that I make is how it gets reflected back to me, and then emotions also support it. And so, what I recently realized, when you think a thought, but it's not supported by an emotion, you don't really think that it's true. So, for example, if I were to think that I'm wealthy right now, but I'm not feeling that I'm wealthy, then it's not coming. I have to feel that I'm wealthy as I think it, because that which I think and feel becomes my belief. The more I think and feel it, the more I reinforce it, then it really gets ingrained into my mind. And then that's what activates in my vibration, and that more of that comes. So, I give you an example. I actually started doing that. And so I kept telling myself that I am abundance. And it's really ironic because, okay, funny, it's a very funny example, actually. I used to donate money to charity. And so I was sending the money and everything, right? But then I stopped for personal reasons. And now, like, I started thinking that I'm abundant and wealthy. They started sending me money. They literally started sending me coins in the letters and stuff like that. So I'm like, if that wasn't the most ironic. I know, it's so hilarious. I literally got like 2 or 3 letters in a row and they were literally sending me money. And before that, nothing like that happened. But as soon as I started like reframing my mind, they literally started like sending me coins. So it's not how much they send or anything like that, is how much I open myself up to receiving. So once I started feeling more worthy of receiving, then it started showing up um proportionally to my belief of how much I'm worthy of receiving. So if I'm feeling worthy of receiving little, that's what I receive. But if I'm feeling worthy of receiving a lot, I will receive a lot. So we always receive proportionally to what our belief allows us to receive. So that's why it can come in like big chunks, or someone can go win a lottery. And it's kind of ironic because Bashar was talking about like winning a lottery, and he was explaining that you have to be passionate about the numbers themselves. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, because then you will bend reality to your will to win the lottery. But you see, this is where it gets really interesting, because you have to believe that it's possible for you. Once you believe it's possible and you're actually really passionate about the numbers, and you're doing it for the sake of actually just playing with the numbers. And even if you visualize yourself winning a lottery, you still have, hi Loba Gray, welcome in. We're just talking about winning the lotteries. It's a pretty wild topic, but here we are. Um, so, as you were saying, it's like you gotta be passionate about what you're doing for the sake of doing it, not because of what it's gonna get you, because then you're creating the momentum and you're not attaching yourself to the outcome, because whatever the outcome is gonna be is what it needs to be. And whatever the outcome is basically what you're attracting in your reality anyway. So if you're in a state of being of passion, you will be attracting that which is a representative of your passion. But if you get yourself out of that state and you start attaching yourself to how the outcome looks, you get yourself out of that passion and you start looking at lack. So then you shift the momentum. You know what I'm saying? So then the momentum shifts, you start manifesting what you don't want because you're not in the state of being of receiving abundance anymore. But if you do the thing for the sake of doing it, you continue. I don't want to say hi. I wish. Aw, thanks. That's so lovely. All the blessings to you too. That's so kind of you. So basically, the whole point of what Bashar was making a point of is maintaining your desired state of being no matter what, because the circumstances don't matter, only your state of being matters. Because if you can maintain your state of being, then everything that's a representative of your state of being will come to you automatically. And the whole point is to learn to completely detach from what is outside of you, because if you can learn to generate the feeling at will, then you don't have to wait for anything to manifest in your reality to get that feeling. Because whenever, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the alert. Because it doesn't matter if anything manifests, because if you can generate that feeling at will, you're basically already living in your preferred reality, because you're wanting to manifest anything for the feeling anyway. You are seeking the feeling, not the thing itself. Because if you're seeking the thing itself and think that it will provide you the feeling, that feeling will go away really quickly because it's not sustainable. But if you can learn to generate the feeling on your own, then you don't have to really care about the manifestation, because you're just gonna be happy all the time, anyways. So it's really about using something like visualization and learning to teach your body to respond in the way that you want, so that your body knows not to respond unconsciously in that sense because of the beliefs that you don't know about. You're gonna be telling it, no, this is how I want to feel right now, because I want to feel excited, so I'm going to feel excited, not because of how things look and on the outside. I'm going to tell my body, this is how I'm going to feel, and I'm going to feel like that. That's my desire, that's my intention. And then you can ask yourself in the mind, well, how can I feel excited right now? What thoughts can help me generate the emotion of excitement or passion? And then you can get a thought that maybe not necessarily bringing you excitement, because you may be emotionally not as far up to feel that yet, but it can get you to feel just a little better than you were, so that you can get closer. And that's the whole point. So you're like, oh, okay, this is a good feeling thought. I can feel better right now. Okay, what's the next good feeling thought? And the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So you just keep imagining, and then you start really feeling into that visualization. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you are excited about something. Like, I was just laying in bed, I was gonna go take a nap. All of a sudden, I'm talking to Keisha, and now I was excited to start streaming. So you see how that goes. Like, we were just talking about like winning a lottery, and all of a sudden I got excited talking about it, and now I'm here doing what excites me. And that's the whole point of like acting on the inspired action, you know. Because all of a sudden, like, streaming came to mind, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like streaming, so I gotta go and use that as an outlet to keep the energy flowing. Because if I were not to do that, then the energy would become stagnant, then there wouldn't be a momentum going. But because I'm in that state of being and I'm using this as an outlet, let's say those who need to hear what I have to say will be attracted to hear that. So that's how it works. So you have to find an outlet and act on your inspired action so that you can actually keep the momentum going. Everything that's within that momentum will find you automatically. So that's the whole point of it. Oh my god, we were just literally talking about it. I didn't even look at it. So everything you imagine, if aligned with your life's theme, is possible. Okay, this is a very important part if aligned with your life's theme. It's kind of ironic because I was like, okay, to what degree can you manifest something in your reality? Well, and it's very important to realize that certain things are not really relevant for you to manifest because they have nothing to do with the lessons that you came here to learn. So it really depends on what choices you made before incarnating here, so that you can see that what is not coming into your reality, it doesn't even really need to come into your reality because it's not something that you want to do anyway. That what your soul wants to explore anyway. It's like, let's say all of a sudden I had an idea to become the president of the United States, but it has nothing to do with the choices that I made before incarnating here. So if I were to pick that path and start working towards that, that would be a lot of obstacles there. And the synchronicity would just tell me, like, no, bro, just turn around and go do something else because that has nothing to do with what's relevant for you, you know? So if something is not coming into your reality, it's because it may just not need to come into your reality. So, and synchronicity will always show you by redirecting you towards what's actually relevant for your experience to go do that instead. So you just have to pay attention. And what I notice for myself personally is whenever I do act on something that has relevance for my theme that I'm exploring, and a theme is something that is challenging for you. For example, if I want to write a book, but I find it challenging, the challenge itself is the theme that I've chosen to explore. So it's like if there's a fear of some sort or whatever, it's that challenge that is the theme, what I'm exploring. So that's relevant for your experience, something that you decided before incarnated here that you wanted to explore. So that's what you're doing. That's why you're pretty much excited about something in the first place. But there can be several themes that you're exploring, but these are the themes that you're usually really attracted to, but find yourself having some sort of challenge accomplishing in a sense. But the whole point is to get yourself in the state of being where you can act on it to the best of your ability and also reveal to yourself why this is a challenge to you. So the whole point is to become aware of why this is challenging, what belief is telling you to feel this way, to think this way, to have a fear or something like that. That's why what you're exploring really. But anything and everything else that you can imagine is really possible. It's just whether it's gonna come to your reality, it really depends on the relevance of your theme. So that's that. Right, let's see. Okay, you manifest through the interplay of beliefs, emotions, and actions. That's what I was just saying, that your beliefs are like the blueprint. Your thoughts are like the building material. And he was saying, like, the emotions are like, they're like putting everything together, basically. So it's like, let's say you think a thought, you have like a construct, like a structure of what it is that you want, right? And emotions are like they're bringing everything together. So it's like how you feel is exactly how it's going to come together. So for example, you want a beautiful house, but based on how you feel is the kind of house that you will manifest or you will not manifest it at all. It depends on your belief system. So that's the kind of thing. If your belief allows you to move in the direction of having the house, then how you feel will determine the kind of house you will get, basically. But it also comes down to like feeling worthy and stuff like that. So if you can manifest a house, how you feel is going to show you the kind of house that you're going to have, and the kind of worthiness that you have about yourself, really. And then choices that you take towards that. So, for example, if I want to live a passionate life, but I'm not taking any action, like I can get passionate, but then I'm not really taking any action, that it's not going to create a momentum, and I will become stagnant if I'm not doing anything about it. So, I have to do something in order for the momentum to keep going, to bring me that which matches my energy. So, excitement is your vibrational resonance. Follow your excitement. That's exactly what it is. So, if I'm excited, I gotta act on my excitement to the best of my ability with no assumption or insistence on what the outcome should be, to the best of my ability in every moment that I can, and then investigate my belief system all the time. Because whenever I'm in a state of being of excitement, but then something comes around to show me that something is out of alignment, that basically tells me that if I want to go higher, I have to let this go, whatever it is. So that's that. Yeah. You're naturally abundant and your choices are creatively supported. That is absolutely true. Literally everything that I ask for, that I believe I am worthy of receiving, everything comes to me. If I'm asking for something that I don't feel worthy of receiving, it doesn't come until I allow myself to have that. So for example, if I know that I can discover some belief system, I know I am worthy of knowing what it is. And because I created the belief that I can find out basically right now, if I ask myself some questions, I can dig deeper into my belief system and do some analysis. I will find out what the belief is because I already created the belief that I can do it. And if I believe that I am abundant, for example, and I really feel that abundance within myself. Like the other day, actually, I was at work and I was writing down that I'm abundant in like so many ways and stuff like that. I was typing out on my phone, and all of a sudden, someone like my coworker gave me a candy. That was abundance. That was a gift. So it's all about like how you perceive yourself, living abundantly, because abundance is not just money. It's one form of abundance, but abundance is basically how Bashar describes it, is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. So abundance is communication. Abundance is inspiration, creativity, communication. If someone gives you a gift, financial abundance. There are many forms of abundance. It's just when you tie money to it, and because we have like beliefs around money, then it kind of makes it sort of complex for you to believe in receiving money. And because certain beliefs we carry in our DNA based on the lifetimes that we had previously, even though all lives are running at the same time, it's just that we're currently focusing on this one specifically. So it's like the carryover of the beliefs that you had in a different life is what's in your DNA, and that's what is running the program of specific things. And so that's what you're experiencing in your reality. So basically, the whole idea is to become aware of your beliefs and let them go. And once you let them go, your whole experience changes, because then you realize that, oh, I can replace this belief and believe in something else. So then you do that, and then you start behaving differently, you start thinking differently, you start feeling differently. Like for example, like I had to become aware of some beliefs that I had towards streaming. And once I let go of the belief, now I'm streaming. So you see, like there is this motivational mechanism that's within the system. When you have a belief, you're always motivated by what's more pleasurable and less painful. So you, by default, you move in the direction of that. And if you're moving in the direction of what you don't prefer, you have to be defining what you do prefer somehow more painful than the reality that you're currently living. For example, if I want to live a life full of action, full of vibrant experiences and things like that, but I have a fear of like feeling safe, fear of judgment and stuff like that, then I will be acting on what's here and now because my fear is more powerful than my desire, for example. So my desire has to be stronger than my fear. So I am motivated to move in the direction of what I don't prefer because I am defining my preferred reality as more painful because of how it can make me feel. So what I'm feeling right now may not sound as bad as what I can experience if I get out of my comfort zone, for example. So you see how this works of like being motivated to do things that you don't prefer because they sound safer, more comfortable, but not necessarily what you prefer. So that's how it works. So you have to find out what the motivational mechanism is so that you can move forward. Once you let it go, then everything changes because it will just make no sense for you to act on that. So certain things you can be holding on to out of self-judgment because there is another belief that's telling you that somehow it serves you to do that. So there's always a belief behind any kind of behavior, any kind of manifestation that you have in your life. So you have to become aware of it so that it makes no sense to you. If it still makes somehow any sense to you to hold on to it, there is a belief that's telling you that it makes sense. Once you discover what that belief is, then you can say, oh, well, that one doesn't make sense. But what I've personally discovered is if there is an emotion, a strong emotion attached to it, which says, don't do that, otherwise something worse will happen, then I can be holding on out of the emotion because it may just be too scary. So I have to let go of the emotion first, and then it's easier to let go of the belief because it's not supported by the emotion anymore. And that's how, like I said, you have a thought and you have an emotion, then it comes together, you get a feeling, then it becomes your belief if it's repeated consistently. But in order for you to let go of that belief, you have to become aware of what the belief is and also realize that the emotion that's attached to it, if it's too strong, it has to transmute. You have to set the intention and transmute it. And you can do it through EFT tapping. You can use visualization and visualize yourself like in a beam of violet flame or inside a pyramid with violet flame or golden light. You can set the intention to work with the Ascended Masters in your higher self. I also call in on angels and archangels. And as I do that, I start crying because the emotions release through crying. It's like a tears of relief, as Bashar said. And so then it's easier to make choices towards your preferred reality because now that emotion is not holding you back, basically. Guys, so your choices are creatively supported, and that's absolutely true because whenever I ask for something, it's always given. Ask and it is given. There is like a book by Abraham Hicks that I read. It was really, really good, really helpful. They give a whole system of how you can direct your thoughts, how you can work through your emotions. They give like a whole system there of how you can apply your thoughts and emotions to get your desired manifestation. And I really enjoyed the idea of scripting, and that's what I've been doing every day, and it's been working so well for me to get myself in my desired state of being. I would just write things like, oh, I love how passionate I am all the time, or I love how abundant I am. And abundance just comes to me from like different directions, from all over the place. It just, the positive momentum keeps going and keeps going. It just doesn't end. And I would say, I love how inspired and creative I am all the time. And I love how I receive epiphanies from the universe throughout the day and night, and it just doesn't stop. It just keeps going, and like abundance keeps flowing, and I'm just so, everything is so beautiful and wonderful, and my life is just full of ecstatic experiences and vibrant and things like that. And as I'm writing this, I'm feeling it, and as I'm feeling it, then things really get like that. The momentum starts moving, and then what's in my vortex starts attracting itself to me. And I would say I love how I'm joking around people and they're joking around me, and we're just laughing all the time and having so much fun. And as I'm typing it, I'm visualizing how it's happening, And then next thing you know, I remember how I was doing it at work. Next thing I know, I come to like a specific location and like a bunch of people come there and we just start laughing. There is just someone said something and we all just somehow got engaged and we just laughed so hard. Literally after I scripted all of that, it was insane. That was absolutely amazing to me. So I just keep doing that all the time. And then just imagine myself how I am with people. Like I want to see like laughing my like myself laughing with people. I want to see how we're having fun. Oh my god, the really funny thing. It was hilarious. I about died there. It was so funny. So I came around one of my coworkers and I imagined we were playing patty cakes. And it was so funny in my mind that I started laughing, and he kind of looked at me. He's like, "Why are you laughing?" And I told him, "I'm like, I saw us playing patty cake." So we kind of laughed at it, and then I came around the table that was there, and all of a sudden, like I could just feel the manifestation coming. And it was so hilarious because I lifted my fingers somehow like this. And at the same time, he went like this. And so it went like this. And it just happened so automatically. We both just cracked up completely because it just all happened simultaneously. It was just like this. And I was like, are you serious? We were just dying there laughing. So that's an example of how you can manifest something funny in your life. You just literally visualize something funny and you see yourself laughing and other people and you really I know, right? That was hilarious. We just died. That was funny. We did end up playing patty cakes later on. It was hilarious because it was like there was a door in between us. He was like came up to it and like he was like putting his hands on there or something and I just did like the pancakes and we just died. It was so funny. Um but yeah, so that's the whole point of like let's say you wake up, you want to visualize how your day goes. You want to visualize where you go. You want to visualize how people are like laughing or smiling around you, how you're laughing all the time and you just want to feel it, feel that visualization. Hey, Frosty, what's up? So you really want to feel it so that it kind of just becomes your reality, you know? Because that's really how it works. Like it's all in your mind first, and then it becomes your reality because your subconscious starts activating it in your vibration instantly, and then you just experience that all the time. So whatever thoughts you're thinking, they're always active in your vibration, and then whatever you manifest is literally a reflection of what you're constantly thinking and feeling. And so when I say like your choices are creatively supported, they really are. It's you don't know how exactly it's going to manifest, but it will come to you one way or another, you know? Oh yeah, totally. Yes, you go rest and have fun and I love that hugs emote. That's pretty cute. I love when there's like this gradient color. It's really cool. Yes, but you go rest and have fun. Okay, so where was I with this? Oh yeah, I was saying that the universe like supports everything that you ask for. It's just that how you feel is exactly what you're gonna receive basically. So, okay, your consciousness is eternal even as forms change. Yes, and that's exactly like your awareness behind your thoughts and feelings. You're not all of those things. But it's kind of ironic, you know, how they say you're not your thoughts, but at the same time, you're part of the one original thought, which was love. So love was a thought, and it's a thought. And so when you think love, you feel love. Every week is just filled with some fun stuff, isn't it? Oh man, it's always fun. But yeah, where was I with this? Oh, so like they were saying that you are not your thoughts. So it really depends on what thoughts we're talking about. Because if I want to go back to the one original thought, where I came from, I basically have to thank love, you know? And that's what kind of dawned on me the other day. I'm like, okay, well, if I want to go back to the creator, then I have to think as love. I have to feel love. I have to act as love. And then I am love. Then I am that which I am, basically. So that was pretty cool to kind of come to that realization. Okay, there's only the now, past, and future constructs of the present moment. I kind of love that, and I believe someone's either said something like that, or I saw on Facebook where, like, there's the quantum physicist that started figuring out that past is actually created from the present, and that's what Bashar has been talking about like the entire time. He's like, you create your past from the present because you are creating it from the version of who you are now. And that makes so much sense because whenever I started visualizing a different outcome of certain things that already happened, I started rewriting the story. And so my memory of that thing changed completely. And now I don't really even think about the thing because now in my mind I have a rewritten outcome. So whatever I perceived as happened actually happened in the way that I am now perceiving. So technically, I rewrote the outcome because I am now in the reality where that outcome is based on how I'm perceiving it now, not how it actually was. So, in that sense, there is no past, really. It's all now. Okay. And the same thing about the future. Future is kind of interesting because, you're shaping your future from what is happening now. And what kind of caught my attention is whenever I was doing spiritual alchemy with Tara Arnold, and she would have like Jesus and Saint Germain come through. I'm getting Metatron right now. Um, like really feeling Metatron presence right now. Like, they would rewrite in the Akashic records once they transmute the belief that came from like different past lives. They would rewrite in the Akashic records what's going to be in the future. So it's like I have a path laid out for me based on the choices that I'm making right now. So it's like if I'm here right now and I'm doing absolutely nothing, I already in a sense have a great probability of what's going to happen next. But let's say I become aware of something in this instant and I change my choices. So let's say I become aware of the patterns that are running, the programming that is running, like the belief that is creating like this perception that I need to make specific choices. So then if I'm in this instant become aware, like my whole reality changes, and what's in my Akashic records also changes. So the probability of me making different choices also changes. And everything in our reality is based on the probability. Hey, Luz, how's it going? Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. What are you crocheting? That's pretty awesome. I know Keisha loves that stuff and she just went to sleep. So that's kind of fun. Oh, what was I saying just now? Oh, so let's say imagine Buddha. As he all of a sudden became enlightened, like if he was still in his previous mindset, right? And didn't become enlightened, the probability of his making choices in a specific direction were a hell of a lot higher. But because he became enlightened, in that sense, he became aware of what he was, and so his whole path shifted because now he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do all of that anymore. I'm gonna go do something else." So that's why when you become aware of certain belief systems, you're completely rewriting your path because you're now making completely different choices. So you're basically shaping a whole new reality for yourself. But you're not creating anything really, you're just selecting from what already exists. So all outcomes and realities already exist, but because you're selecting consistently from what is available to you at the moment, you're just moving in that direction. So you're basically accomplishing something based on the probability. But even though you have a probability of something happening like 20% versus something happening 70%, depending on your desire, how much desire you have to explore something, it can override that probability, and you can start moving in a completely different direction. So, and that's how it's like bounces back and forth. Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually really curious how you guys do that. Like I tried crocheting like I think it was a turtle I had. Yeah, I I would need some time with that one. Cuz what I did, I think I did knitting before, like when I was like maybe 5th grade or 6th grade or whatever. That was pretty fun. Crocheting is something else. But yeah. So, where was I with this? Yeah, so the probability is based on your desire, based on your belief system, your definitions, and what you want to do for yourself. So, like I was saying, I was just laying in bed. I was going to go take a nap. And then we were talking with Keisha about like winning a lottery. And all of a sudden, I got so excited about the idea of winning a lottery that I was like, oh, I'm just going to go stream because I'm so excited about it. So, it basically aligned with that state of being, so I got an inspiration of like what to act on to kind of like release this energy, like find an outlet for this energy. So that's what I'm saying, like the probability of me going to take a nap was really high because I was already in bed. I was like literally just like laying my phone, and then Keisha said something, and then it just completely shifted. But so ironic is because right before Keisha texted me, I started actually scripting in my reality that I think I was, what did I write? Like, I was writing something about like being passionate and being like excited and stuff like that. And it literally manifested. So that's kind of hilarious. So now I really, really adore scripting my reality from, let's say, my imagination of what is it that I want to experience. So as I imagine it, I put it down on paper. Well, I usually do it on my phone, just put it in my like a journal. And so I would say like, oh, I love how passionate I am and how excited and like this, just there are so many vibrant and ecstatic experiences that are coming in and things like that, and the universe just constantly blesses me and I'm so abundant and things like that. So it's just like imagining what you would like to experience as if it were already here. And so then it just, because you're in that state of being, because you're feeling that way, then it starts really coming in quickly, because whoever's in matching that vibration starts coming into your reality and reflects that back to you. Okay, here, where are we? Okay, da, da, da. Okay, everything you experience reflects another aspect of yourself. Okay, this is very true from what I experience, is because I'd say even people always reflect back to me what I believe to be true about myself and about them. In my reality, and it's interesting, I was just talking to Keisha about it, like in my reality, they don't have free will to the degree that I think they do, because they will always reflect something back to me of what I believe to be true about myself or them. At the same time, it's very interesting because it depends on what kind of aspect of myself they're reflecting back to me. So it depends on what frequency within me they're matching. It depends on what's active within them and what's active within me. Because if what's active within them is not matching what's active within me, they will not come around me. But if we're matching what's active for both of us, then that will bring us together, basically. So there's that. So that's how you can decipher when someone comes into your life and what they're reflecting back to you. You can see what is active in your vibration primarily. But it also depends on what kind of agreements you made with those souls, because sometimes you're just there to help them or they're there to help you and things like that. So it's not like a one-to-one reflection. And it really depends on what you're helping each other with. So, yeah. And even like if you're doing something specific and you're feeling an emotion, usually you will feel it through what you're pulled to do. If you're pulled to do something when you're not really feeling good, then whatever you're doing with that thing will just reflect that back to you and will only amplify your emotion. So you kind of want to find alignment first before you do anything. Because if I were, let's say, to stream, but I wasn't feeling good, the way I would be streaming, I wouldn't be passionate. I would be kind of like feeling low and like, dragging it. But because I felt alignment before that, now it feels more like it's flowing and more like passion. So, and even Abraham says, like, before you want to do anything, you want to get yourself in alignment first. That way, what you're doing is actually in alignment with your desire, what it is that you want to experience. Because if you're just acting on something and you don't really feel like it, it's not even worth the effort. It's just not going to be in alignment. So you're unconditionally loved even in the belief that you're not. And it's interesting because you're so unconditionally loved that you're allowed to believe anything that you want about yourself. And I kind of found it funny. I was just watching the video. Bashar was saying, like, in order for you to feel stuck, you have to actually be not stuck in order to create that experience. So you're using 100% of your power, empowerment, and things like that to create that experience. And the same thing with like feeling disconnected from the creator. You're creating an experience of being disconnected, but you have to be connected in order to even create that experience. You can't create an experience of being disconnected when you're never connected. It makes no sense. You have to be connected in order to create the experience of you not being connected. So that made complete sense to me. So whenever we're feeling that something is out of alignment, we're choosing to create that using 100% of our power to do that through choice because of our definitions and beliefs about our reality and ourselves in relation to the reality. Okay, Bashar's the 5 laws of creation. Oh yeah, I remember watching the video, the 5 laws of creation. Oh my god. What was that? That was pretty cool too. It's like you exist and cannot become non-existent. Oh, let's actually ask. Might as well. Okay, there we go. The first one, you exist, you cannot cease to exist. And how he explained, he said that non existence by definition doesn't exist. So it's like non existence is already full of everything that doesn't exist for anything that does exist to come into it. So that was kind of hilarious. But it makes so much sense. Even like when you think with your physical mind, it's like you start trying to like grasp on those ideas, and you're like, oh, okay, that, yeah, if you think about it, it really does make sense that way. Okay, you may change form, shift realities, or transform your state of being, but your existence itself is eternal. Yep. If you exist now, you always will in some form. You'll be some space dust. I remember watching QHHT with what's her face? Suzanne. Oh my god, Suzanne Spooner. And the guy that was getting a session, he was like just straight up space dust. It was like so long ago that he was just filtering information through itself and like in cosmos. He was just there, like completely present. Nothing was happening. He was just there. It was just yeah. It was it felt completely peaceful. The info was just filtering and that's it. That's as much as you needed to do, apparently. So that worked out for him, clearly. Okay. Everything is here and now. Time and space are illusions created by consciousness. That is so true. And it's kind of funny for me to say that from my physical mind perspective. Because, and you know how you differentiate between time and space time? So, time and space is in the unmanifested. So, in your thought, for example, that which is not manifested. Space and time is that which is material reality. So, that's how you can know the difference between time space and space time. And it's kind of like it. I don't want to say what's the word I can use. It boggles my mind, I guess, is the word that I want to use, of like how you project something outward with your consciousness. It's like you create a holographic projection of everything that you see through your consciousness, but nothing really exists. That kind of blows me away thinking about it. Because the way you observe things is how they come together, but it kind of is interesting because, like, two people look at the same thing, but they see different things. You know, even though it appears somewhat similar, you're still perceiving it differently. So, yeah, it's so weird. Okay, all realities, timelines, and possibilities exist simultaneously in the present moment. Yep, that definitely, as I was just saying about like creating past and future from the present, and it kind of makes me wonder of like, all these realities are running at the same time. And like Bashar was even saying, let's say if I was to look at my 10-year-old me from where I am right now, that would not be me anymore. That's a completely different person. So then I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, so that would be a completely different person, and that's like a frozen frame for me right now. And that's someone else. It just kind of blows me away of thinking that it's not me anymore. And I shift billions and billions and billions of times per second through frames of different realities, and I constantly shift who I am. And the only reason we create continuity in our reality is through belief systems that we just choose to hold on to. That's it. If I were to drop a belief of who I am, and now I'm behaving differently, I'm thinking differently, I'm feeling differently, I'm not that person, I'm not that personality completely. And that's what Joe Dispenza was saying too. Like, in order for you to become a different person, you have to completely change your personality. And that's changing your belief system, changing your habits, changing your behavior, changing the choices that you make. And that's what makes you a completely new person. But even though we still have all these things that we do, like all these beliefs, we still shift through realities. We're still a new, completely new person every moment. So that kind of blows me away anyway. But because we have all these beliefs that we're holding on to, it creates this perception of continuity. But everything is happening now. And there is never a past, really, or the future. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, there you go. The idea of past and future are ways consciousness organizes experience. And you see, oh my God, that's pretty important. Like, I don't remember who was saying, I don't know if Bashar or Ra was saying, or someone was saying that cause and effect are happening at the same time. So it's not that there is a cause first and then there is an effect. Everything happens simultaneously. So you have an effect at the same time, then you have a cause. But because we believe that the cause precedes the effect, then there is like a certain action that creates an outcome, but it all already exists. It's like you're sort of tapping into that, and the outcome is imminent because the choice that was selected from the present moment, it's like you tap into that reality, so you experience that outcome because of the reality that you choose to tap into based on your current perception, if that makes sense. It's like you're standing here and all the potential is like in a waveform. And so this waveform, as soon as you start like observing it through your perception and you make a choice, you collapse a particular reality into the one that you want to experience. And so then that becomes your reality. And everything else is that is in the potential is still in the waveform. And I think that's what they were saying in quantum physics, is that everything exists as a wave, and what else? As a wave and as a what the hell is the word? Oh my god. Not a stream, but like what's the word? Jesus Christ. Like a waveform and particle. I think particles, they were saying particle wave. No. Particle, particles and waveform. I think that's what it is. Yes, particles and waves, something like that. And so once you collapse, it becomes like this particle experience. Let me double check this. Let's see. Okay, so wave particle duality, waves. Okay, so waves, they are spread out, holding many potential states or positions at once. And as particles, they appear as a single definite outcome when we measure or interact with them. So you see, like we have all these potential realities here, but because we make a choice and we perceive something in a specific way, it begins to behave that way. It turns into that reality. And like they were saying about this double slit experiment, like until there is an observer, it's like in this chaotic state. But then as soon as there is an observer, it's like it collapses into something specific, and then you perceive it that way. So you have to perceive it in order for it to be experienced that way, which just kind of blows me away completely. But here we are. uh, okay, so here, oh, little, I didn't even see they were saying that, but here it is. Oh my god, that's so crazy. If unobserved, an electron passes through both slits at once and creates an interference pattern like a wave. If observed, measured, it collapses into a single definite path like a particle. Okay, before collapse, infinite possibilities exist. After collapse, one specific outcome is experienced. In human terms, our consciousness doesn't just witness reality, it plays a role in selecting from the field of potentials. Each observation, choice, or focus of attention collapses infinite probability into one concrete experience of reality. So, infinite potentials, reality is like a quantum wave. Endless possible outcomes exist simultaneously. And then we have observation attention equals collapse, where we place focus, belief, and intention determines which version of reality comes forward. Also, like I was sort of stressing the importance of intention, because once you set your intention and you really focus on it, then you create a momentum, and everything that's based on your intention will start flowing to you automatically based on your state of being, too. So, depending on what your intention is, you have to maintain that state of being in order for that intention to kind of be active all the time. So, you have to kind of reinforce it within yourself and then maintain the state of being so that everything that's a representative of your intention can find you, actually. And literally everything in our reality is based on our intention. It's just that we don't know about it necessarily. And then we act on certain things unconsciously, and that's why it's not really directed. I don't want to say perfectly, but it directed more intentionally, more in a more focused way energetically. But once you set the intention for anything you do, even in your mind, as you change like segments of reality, as Abraham was saying, like before you start taking action on about anything, you want to set your intention of how you want it to go. So let's say you want to go start washing the dishes and you set your intention to have fun while washing the dishes and like sing or something like that. So you set that intention and you go do that. So you act according to your intention, and then you bring that reality into your experience. So that's how it works. Then you finish washing the dishes, you want to set the intention again in your mind of whatever it is that you want to do. Let's say go play video games or something, and you set the intention that it's going to be fun and that whatever you want to experience and playing the games. But you see what I'm saying is that you want to set the intention so that you collapse a specific reality into your experience, so that you're focusing the energy as a deliberate creator, so that it's not like scattered in your reality and then you don't know why you're experiencing things the way they are. But once you set the intention, that you're at least directing the energy in that specific direction. And that's why I love writing down the intention, because then as I write it down, I can feel from personal experience of how it's easier to manifest something when I write it. Because then it feels like I'm putting a lot of focused energy into what I write, and I'm really focused with my emotion about what I write. So it's like there's so much intention while writing about the intention that it feels a lot easier to manifest a specific thing when I do that. So that's why I write a lot about the reality that I prefer. So, like, I script how I feel, what I'm experiencing, and then the universe brings me everything that's a representative of what I was feeling while I was writing it. So, it's not necessarily what you write or what you say or what you think, but how you feel about it. So, your feeling is that crucial that like what do you call it, like that crucial part of your manifestation is like if you say, oh, I want money, but then you're feeling lack of it, you're just, as you say it, you're manifesting more lack of it, because your feeling of the lack is what the universe is hearing. It's hearing your vibration of lack. But if you say, oh, I'm abundant and I'm feeling abundant, universe is like, oh, she's feeling abundant. Let me bring more abundance into her reality. Like I was just telling Keisha an example. I was donating money previously to like a charity. And I was sending them money, and now I started saying I'm abundant. They started sending me money. Isn't that like the irony of this whole thing? You know what I mean? So it's like I shifted from sending them money, now they're sending me money in the mail. So it's the irony of that whole thing. But that's a perfect example of how you start feeling abundant. You tell yourself that story as if it was true already. You start writing like it is, and you forget the story of what's actually happening so that you can get your focus away from what's happening to your vision, basically. Because as you focus on something in your mind and you get really excited about it, that state of being is what's drawing the experience to you. And that's why Neville Goddard knew what he was talking about, because when I was, let's say, in Ukraine manifesting, I didn't know that's what I was doing. I was like, I had absolutely no idea what was happening. But I was living the vision. I was seeing, walking in the streets in the US. I was seeing myself traveling and talking to people in English all the time. I was so excited about it that like I had like once I graduated from the university, like all these opportunities just flooded in of like what I needed to do, everything step by step, like one after another, easy. And I didn't even have to do anything necessarily. It just like someone said something to me, someone else mentioned something. There's like an article on the internet, like everything just popped up like so perfectly, synchronistically. It was insane. And I moved within just a couple of months. And I was dreaming about it for like 10 years or something. But it all happened so quickly. As soon as I finished university, it was like, whoop, and I'm done. And everything like fell into place so crazily. It like I couldn't believe it. But I was living that vision and I was feeling it. And then someone was taking me, driving me um, to different places to show me around. Like I didn't even have to pay for anything. It was completely free. So it was completely crazy manifestation. But you have to see it in your mind and feel as if it was true for you. So it's like if I'm because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what you see with your eyes and what you see in your mind, because everything that you see in your mind becomes your reality. So you always see it in your mind first, and that's what you manifest later. So you want to see something that you really want to experience and really like focus on the feeling of the excitement of it. So it's like if you want to be rich, you want to feel, you want to know the feeling of what that's like. Like how would you feel if $1 million showed up to you tomorrow? Like what would that feel like to you? Would you be jumping up and down? Would you be like super excited? Like what would the feeling be? So just imagine that feeling and just maintain that feeling as much as you can, and the universe will align you with opportunities to for that to happen. You don't have to make it happen. Universe will bring you every opportunity that is matching you vibrationally. That's the path of least resistance. So so long as you maintain that state of being of excitement, everything that's in alignment with whatever you envision consistently will come into your reality. So, like before streaming, I was visualizing moving to a different city and like having my own podcast and things like that. So, it's basically visualizing yourself as that version of the person that's already doing those things. So, as I was visualizing that, all of a sudden I started getting really pulled to stream, like really strong pulls. And I haven't streamed for years. And all of a sudden there's this strong pull to stream and like share all these things. But that's because whenever I was visualizing, I saw myself as that person that was already like doing the podcast, that was like traveling, that was doing like different things and like being really excited and passionate about it. So, in order for that reality to manifest, you have to think, you have to feel, you have to behave like that identity. You have to completely shift into that reality right now so that everything that's in alignment with that version of you brings it into this reality and everything starts shifting. So instead of like wanting for that to happen, you start behaving like that version of you. So just imagine what would that person be like, you know? Let's say if you're not really feeling confident, you have to imagine yourself being confident already. If you want to feel passionate, you want to imagine being passionate. You want to feel excited. So you want to see it in your mind and you want to feel it. You have to find a feeling that's represented because if you're thinking but you're not feeling anything, it's not going to work. You have to feel it. And then the universe responds to the vibration of your feeling. Because when you think a thought and you have an emotion, you create a belief, and your belief is what's creating anything in your reality. So you have to figure out how to feel basically. And that's kind of something that I'm also figuring out for myself too, because, it's like, well, what would that feel like if I were to do these and these things? If I never felt those things before, it's like, how do I know what that feeling is? I just have to basically figure out on the go what that would feel like. Just imagine being excited. Just imagine being passionate about it. Just see yourself smiling, laughing, and just really feeling into it. And everything that's a representative of that will come into your reality one way or another. So you have to treat everything that comes into your reality as you maintain that state of being as a synchronicity, because nothing is random. Everything is a match to your vibration. It's like Bashar said, what you put out is what you get back. So if you constantly visualize yourself um living that reality already, if someone tells you something that you don't think might fit in your reality, but you're in a passionate state of being, I would consider that as a potential, like a stepping stone to where you might want to go to get to where you want to be. Because even if it feels like it doesn't fit, there's a reason why it manifested. So it really depends on what you have active in your vibration and what's coming into your reality. Because if, let's say, if streaming for me was the stepping stone for everything else to happen, that I have to be doing it while in that state of being of excitement and passion so that everything else can fall into place, basically. But I have to act like that identity. Where were we? Yeah, so experience as the particle. Once collapsed, reality feels solid and definite like the particles in physics. Consciousness as a bridge. Many teachers, Bashar, Abraham, Neville, Ra, interpret this as showing that our inner state of beingness influences which version of reality we collapse into. And that's why Bashar was saying, like, it doesn't matter. The circumstances don't matter, only your state of being matters, because based on your state of being is the reality that you're going to manifest. So it only matters how you feel. It never matters how anything looks at all. It only matters how you feel. So you have to train yourself to feel how you want to feel so that it never matters what anything looks like, because then you will be happy within yourself and nothing will matter if anything manifests or not. You're basically gonna be free completely. Oh, there you go. It's a perfect example. So imagine you're about to give a presentation. Before it happens, there are infinite possible outcomes. You do well, you stumble, people love it, people dislike it. Your state of being, confidence versus fear, focus on success versus focus on failure, acts like an observer narrowing the field. So the reality you experience, the collapsed particle, aligns with the vibration of what you believed, focused on, and embodied. So if I'm confident right now about what I'm saying, it just flows through me. I don't have to try to make it happen. It just flows because I'm in the state of being of allowance. But if I were not confident, then I would have to like try to put words together, and it's just like a, you know how that goes when you're not really feeling it, right? So it really depends on how you feel. Where were we with this? So the one is the all, and the all are the one. Everything in existence is made of the same consciousness, the one infinite creator. Yes. There is only the creator, there is nothing but the creator. Experiencing it's kind of like a joke by now. Experiencing itself through itself, by itself, with itself is kind of funny now. Oh man. Each part contains the whole, and the whole expresses itself through each part. So it's like you feel like you're limited in this physical body, but you're actually unlimited because of your belief systems that you have in your DNA, and this belief of separation, and like whatever else beliefs you have, you know. But if you remember who you truly are and you act like it, then everything is possible for you because you're in that reality of being the creator, and then everything aligns with that idea. And there are so many more opportunities to experience and express yourself as the creator based on your intention, obviously. So if you were in service to others, then there would be opportunities for you to be of service to others. Uh, Unity underlies all diversity, yes. And it's kind of funny because like I think Ra was saying that like in sixth density, even though they're seeing each other as one in a sense, they still somewhat recognize the individual parts of the creator. They kind of like recognize them, but because they're harmonizing their perception of each other is that's what the actual perception of unity is, or the expression of unity is when you see that there are individualized parts of the creator, but you choose to see them as one, even though they are individual. So it's like you're not separating yourself, even though these are unique expressions of the creator. You basically see them as unique, but you appreciate them and harmonize together with them. And that's what creates the idea of unity, really. Here we go. That's a pretty important one. It's like can't get enough of this one. What you put out is what you get back, and that's what I was just talking about. This is the law of reflection. Your vibration, thoughts, beliefs, and actions are mirrored back to you by your reality. So everything that comes to you in your reality is always a reflection of your thoughts, your choices, how you feel. Cause and effect. Oh, I was just talking about that's so crazy. Cause and effect are simultaneous. You experience what you radiate. Yes. Basically, your state of being. Everything changes except the first four laws. Change is the only constant within creation. The first four laws are the only fixed, unalterable truths. Everything else is in motion, transformation, and evolution. And that's what Bashar was saying, that everything changes except the four laws. And that's like when you change the beliefs, then your reality changes, your thoughts change, your feelings change, everything that you manifest changes. So it's like every truth is half truth because it's true for you, but it may not be true for me. What's true for me may not be true for you, but it's my truth. And because it's my truth, it's I'm experiencing it as my truth. And whatever is your truth, you're experiencing it in your reality, and that is your truth. And you can say, oh, but this is what I experienced, so it must be true. But if I'm not experiencing it in my reality, it doesn't need to be my truth. But if I want to experience it, then I can take it as my truth, but I don't have to. And that's why whenever we were children, it was so easy for others to influence us because we were so, I think we were like in alpha state until we were like 7 or something. Joe Dispenza was saying like until you're like 7 or something, you're so susceptible in your subconscious to like take on someone else's truth because you don't have really reasoning to say, oh, this makes sense, oh, this doesn't make sense. So you're just taking on a bunch of information, you're not really filtering it, it just goes into your unconscious. You create beliefs, and then because of what you observed in your reality, you're like, oh, if they're experiencing that, that must be something that I will be experiencing. And that's what's manifesting for you now because you thought you were 7 when you were 7, that that's what the truth is. And now it's manifesting for you. But now you can ask yourself questions like, well, what do I have to believe to be true about myself in relation to the situation, to be thinking, to be feeling, to be behaving like this? And then you can get an inspiration in your mind, or you can have an experience come and reflect to you what the belief is. And once you become aware of it and you see that it makes no sense, you can let it go. And what I would do, I would write down those questions like, what do I have to believe to be true? Why do I believe this to be true? What belief is telling me that it makes sense to think or feel this way? And then see what pops up. Once you become aware of it, it makes no sense, you let it go, and then you replace it with something that you do prefer, and then that starts manifesting your reality instead. So that's what's been helping me in releasing a ton of beliefs that just didn't make sense. But I had to be asking myself questions. And it's been really helpful to do that in meditation because when I ask myself those questions, I could get a visualization that's showing me symbolically of what the belief is. And then I kind of decipher what it is. I'm like, oh, well, now that makes no sense. Okay, I can let it go. And then I set the intention, like I would write, I set the intention um, to how do I go? Oh, I would say it is my intention that the violet flame and ascended masters transmute the belief and whatever the belief is, the old programming and like whatever the emotion is in relation to that that you feel, back to love. And you want to say across all dimensions, realities, and densities, all time, space, and space time, this lifetime and all other lives, in my mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies, in my subconscious, conscious, and unconscious, in through my DNA and RNA. So that's what you want to write down, and then ascended masters start transmuting that belief in your unconscious, and they start rewriting in your akashic records towards your new belief. So that's what's been working really well for me. And then I would have like an emotional release. I would cry like either intensely, or it depends on what the emotion is and the belief. Usually when I become aware of something, it just releases through tears, the emotion releases, and then I become more aware of what it is, and then I become more grounded because the thoughts and emotions in relation to that belief are also gone. So now I think differently and feel more grounded, and don't really have memories of that thing. If I healed it completely, then I'm not thinking about it anymore. And we usually have a memory of something because it hasn't been healed completely. So if you want to heal something, you want to imagine a different outcome for yourself. So imagine that scene that kind of triggers the emotion that you don't like. And just imagine and fully allow yourself to feel that emotion. Like set the intention to feel that emotion as strongly as possible. And once you do, once it's so amplified, you set the intention to experience an equal opposite of that. So, for example, if you're experiencing fear, you amplify it as much as you can in your visualization. You can ask ascended masters or angels or archangels to help you amplify it. Just what helps me is visualizing like the worst possible outcome, basically. And then that emotion comes up, and then I start inviting like an equal opposite. So in my case, I invite love. and then it transmutes it instantly, and then I see like a different kind of outcome of that. So if I were to visualize the worst possible outcome, then I see the best possible outcome, so that that emotion kind of comes in and it brings it into the middle point, so you start balancing it out, so then you will feel a ton of relief. And that's how I was, let's say, releasing the guilt and shame, is the situation that actually brought up the guilt and shame. I imagined a different outcome that made me feel love for myself, and I cried so much to release that. So that felt really relieving. So I found that really helpful for myself. Visualization is like so helpful. It's insane. It's insane how helpful it is. You can visualize so many things and use it as a wonderful tool to help you with so many things. But yeah, I would totally check out Neville Goddard and how he advises using visualization to create the reality that you want. I posted some videos on Discord and they're absolutely worth watching. Okay, where were we with this? Seven sequential steps to manifestation. Follow your excitement formula. Let's see. Okay, so here is the formula that Bashar suggested to get you in that state of being of passion, and so that everything comes to you synchronistically. So he says, act on your highest excitement at any given moment. Notice what feels most exciting, compelling, or joyful. Choose the action that has the highest excitement available to you right now. So, like, of all the options that you have available to you right now, just pick the one that contains the highest excitement and just do that. And then once you're done with that, pick the next one most exciting and just keep going and keep going, and it will be snowballing for the rest of the day, every day. And like he would say, it becomes like an ecstatic explosion of synchronicity, because everything will be matching your vibration. Whatever needs to come to you will come. Okay, then he said, take it as far as you can with zero insistence on the outcome. So follow the excitement fully until you can't take it any further in that moment. So don't force an expectation of how it must turn out. Let reality surprise you, basically. Yeah, and I think that's pretty important, because if you're not insistent on the outcome, then it will flow a hell of a lot more smoothly, and then you will continue maintaining your preferred state of being. That's why loosening the grip is pretty important. Okay, do it with integrity. Your choices must be aligned with respect for yourself and others. Acting with integrity keeps the flow harmonious and in balance. Remain open to synchronicity. Excitement leads you to the next step, often in unexpected ways. Trust synchronicities, meaningful coincidences as signposts on your path. Stay in a positive state regardless of circumstance. Oh, that's a pretty important one right there. Regardless of what anything looks like, you gotta make sure that you're doing your best to just not have an emotional reaction to it. And I know that the only reason we really have emotional reactions is because there are definitions and beliefs that are out of alignment that are telling us to feel that way. So once you find what the belief is, you won't have a response. And that's like disciplining yourself to choose the reality that you do prefer, instead of falling back into the same reactions and experiencing the same thing in a negative way, because everything that's manifesting is literally a representative of your response. So if you want to experience a different reality, you have to choose a different response. Even if an outcome looks different than expected, trust that it's serving you. Yes. Giving it gratitude is definitely helping, is absolutely helping. Just giving it gratitude out loud, saying that you love it, appreciate it, give it gratitude. And that helps you raise your vibration instantly, and you shift into a different reality, and then the momentum shifts and you don't have to be attracting from that previous emotion whatever you were attracting. So reframe everything as being in your best interest. Sometimes the form is just unexpected. Yes. I sometimes, like, I tell myself, like, it's definitely serving me. I know it's here for a positive reason. I know it's helping me grow and expand. And once I say it to myself, then I feel better just in general. And that's already helping a lot. That also allows me to reframe my mindset, and before the ego jumps in to say, oh, I don't like it or whatever, like, I'm already setting the intention to see it from the place of love, and then I feel that way. Okay, excitement equals your vibrational compass. It's how your higher self signals alignment with your life's theme. Yes, and that's what Bashar was saying. Like, whenever you feel passionate about something, that's your translation of what your higher self is like. That's the translation of the energy of your higher self. So when you act on your passion and excitement, you're literally acting as your higher self. Okay, zero insistence and outcomes equals trust. Yes, let go of control allows the universe to orchestrate the details. Integrity plus openness equals flow. Yes, when combined, they create effortless momentum towards your best life. Yep. So let's say you feel excited to start sketching a new idea even though you don't know why. You follow the excitement, then you sketch the design, then you share it online. Someone sees it and offers you a collaboration opportunity that leads to a new career path you never predicted. And that's exactly what I was saying. Like, you follow your excitement, you're in that state of being, you all of a sudden like act on it, right? And then you have an idea of like, oh, I'm not doing tarot cards. I don't even know where they. Yeah, I'm just doing like chatting about all these things. Um what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, like you sketch the design and you share it online, and that's exactly the synchronicity that I was, maybe I can find that deck. Hold on, maybe I can actually give you the card. One moment. But that's what I was saying. Alright, hold up. I found the deck. Might want to grab some water one more. Okay. See, I did find the deck, so that's cool. Okay. Oh yeah, so I was saying the like you act in your excitement, and then all of a sudden you get this inspired action coming into your mind. You just gotta really take that action because you don't know where it's gonna lead you. Just setting my intention here. Oh, where is the book? Right here. Okay, so what you got is the where is the, can you see it? It's a weird, wait, but it says Lord. Lord, take charge with authority. Let's see. Okay. So here's the message. Don't be afraid to take charge or use your voice. Be strong. The Lord is the consort of the lady, the emperor in the traditional tarot. He represents an authoritative male who isn't afraid to lay down the law. But this doesn't mean he is angry or chauvinistic. He is self possessed, reliable, and ambitious, a man of honor who has earned his place in society. The Lord in this oracle holds a ram's staff and wears a crown of antlers, showing he keeps himself firmly rooted in the ground and is protective of his people. His regal air indicates he has a taste for the finer things in life, yet he is sensitive to those who are less fortunate than he is. My throat. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel that your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it's time to change that. There is no excuse for bad behavior, and the ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that aren't working for your growth, and it's time to take charge before you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You're being encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. This card also brings the energy of ambition and can show you have the potential to move upwards on a professional level, but only if you act with authority and show who you really are. Yeah, that was it. I hope that was helpful. I hope you were here for to hear the message too. Wow, that's so funny. Okay, so where was I with this? Okay, so if you had insisted that the sketch must become a business immediately, you might have blocked the natural flow. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would have to find the decks. Like, I would have to like, if I were to stream that, I would want to like have it all ready because I would just have to go through them. It's kind of funny. Thank you, Luis. Appreciate it. Okay, so if you had insisted the sketch must become a business immediately, you might have blocked the natural flow. So by staying open, excitement guided you step by step into alignment. Okay, so basically you just gotta focus on the excitement and then everything falls into place automatically. Okay, in Bashar's words, this formula is the shortcut to everything you prefer, a self organizing principle of creation. Yes, and I think who was saying, I was listening to something. Oh, it's literally Raw was telling me today. Like, you just have to, like, if you have your intention set, let's say, to be of service to others, then, you just move in that direction and you just trust that you're exactly where you need to be of service. So it's like, it all aligns perfectly based on where you're vibrating at. Okay. Let's see. Excitement, projection, simultaneous existence of parallel realities. I remember he was just talking about like a film strip thing, like it's frozen right now, but then once you tap into it, it's like we're moving through these film strips, and then we experience them as a continuity. Like you have a flip book and you like go through every page and you just flip it so quickly that it creates this feeling of continuity. As the same thing, we go through these frames and then it just, becomes like a living thing. So that's pretty cool. Synchronicity as a guidance mechanism. I think this one is pretty important. Let's see. What does Bashar say about this? Bashar speaks a lot about synchronicity. Okay, so it's not just coincidence, but the way your higher mind communicates with your physical mind. It's like a compass showing you. the most aligned path in every moment. Mhm. When you follow your excitement, synchronicity arranges the circumstances, people, and time needed for your journey. It reveals the path of least resistance. Instead of forcing things, synchronicity shows you what naturally flows. By trusting the timing and connections, you let the universe do the heavy lifting, so to speak. Oh, and that's one thing that Abraham Hicks was saying too, like if there are things that you want to get done, but you don't want to really do them or you don't really know how to do them, just create like a to-do list, but create the list for the universe to take care of. So I kind of found that interesting. You just write things down that you want to get done, but just write them down as the universe has taken care of it. I haven't really tried that. I didn't think there was anything for me to like experiment with, but I feel like there could be something. Um, but yeah, something you can try for yourself. If you have a lot of things you want to do, you can just write some of them for the universe to take care of. Okay, so it's a mirror of your state of being. What shows up out there reflects what you believe and feel inside. Positive synchronicities increase when you're in alignment. Negative synchronicities arise when you're out of alignment, not to punish you, but to show you what belief is creating resistance. Yes, definitely feeling that. Bashar says you don't have to think of synchronicity as leading you to your goal. Synchronicity is the goal, it is your life. I feel like that's also a pretty important point of like, if you have a goal to get to, it's like you never really get it done because it's like a continuous process of creation. So you're not really moving towards one specific goal because the movement within right now is the goal. It's like realizing yourself as the creator is the goal. And manifestations are just like it's like a bonus in a sense. Yeah, every moment of synchronicity is a piece of puzzle, and together they form the big picture of your journey. Yes. Imagine you're excited about learning to play the guitar. You follow that excitement. While browsing, you randomly meet someone who's a guitar teacher. That teacher introduces you to a music circle where you meet new friends. One of those friends later offers you a job opportunity connected to music. There you go. This chain of synchronicities isn't random, it's the higher self orchestrating events to align you with your true path. Yep, definitely, definitely. Synchronicity is the physical translation of excitement, is how the higher mind guides you effortlessly if you're willing to trust it. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So, see, let's see what Abraham Hicks says about like thoughts and building momentum, because that's one thing that helped me so much to get myself in the state of excitement and passion. Okay. So, every thought carries a vibration. As you focus on a thought, you tune your personal vibration to it. Law of attraction responds to thoughts. Thoughts attract other thoughts of similar frequency. I personally experienced that because I would think a particular thought and I would ask myself what belief is generating the thought, and then I would have more thoughts of a similar content show up, and they would actually tell me what that thought was about, and they would point me towards the belief. So that was pretty insane how certain thoughts were vibrating on a similar frequency. They seemed unrelated to each other, but they actually were so interconnected. And by asking what that means and show me more, the universe brought me more thoughts that actually revealed what that thought was about. So that was really helpful. Okay, so that which is like unto itself is drawn. What you focus on grows. Yes, every time I focus on love, I begin to perceive more love, and then my My eyes look in the direction of love. So basically, I set the intention to perceive love and to be of service to others, and then everything moves me in that direction automatically. But I repeat that in my mind quite a few times until I really feel like my energy is there. Okay, so let's see how momentum works. So one thought leads to another. Yes, so Abraham was saying like a thought held for 17 seconds can attract another like it. So you want to think something that you prefer and find something else that's similar, and then the more you think that, then after 17 seconds you get more and more thoughts. So let's say if I were to think like, oh, I love how excited I am all the time, and I love how passionate I am. And if I think something like that for 17 seconds, all of a sudden, like I start getting like visions and things that amplify what I'm feeling already. So it just continues creating that momentum. And then if I think those things for like a couple of minutes, then I'm really feeling the momentum amplifying and it grows stronger. Okay, hold it longer. The momentum strength literally says it right here as I looked away. After about 68 seconds of focus, the thought gains enough vibrational momentum to begin manifesting experiences. Yes. Oh, and it's like rolling a snowball down a hill. The longer it rolls, the bigger it becomes. Yes, definitely felt like felt it. Positive or negative, it's neutral at first. If you focus on worry, that gains momentum. If you focus on appreciation, that also gains momentum. Momentum is impartial, it simply amplifies your point of focus. So if you're feeling something negative, you have to get yourself out of that negative momentum, because if you're focusing longer on the negative thoughts, then you just get more negative thoughts and it just keeps amplifying the negative momentums. And then whatever synchronicity brings you becomes to reflect that in your reality. So you have to find a thought that feels just a little better than what you were feeling in the negative momentum. So you have to flip it. So let's say if you're feeling like something's bad, we would say, then you want to say something, well, what if it's not as bad as I think it is? What if it's actually to help me grow? What if it's actually help me expand? What if it's showing me something that I'm not seeing right now? What if it's actually here to help me have more clarity? You see how you started like shifting to the positive. Now you're thinking that for 17 seconds, you're starting a whole new momentum. You start feeling better. Once you start feeling better, you start attracting better. So Abraham often uses the metaphor of a train on a track. If you start a train of thought heading east, positive direction, but then add thoughts going west, negative direction, the train can't move smoothly. Yes, that's why you have to focus in one direction consistently. Consistency builds speed and clarity. Choose one direction and keep fueling it. Yes. So let's say you wake up and notice a small good thing like sunlight through your window. You think, oh, that feels nice. Then you think, I love mornings like this. Next, that I feel grateful for my home. Soon you're in the flow of appreciation, and that's how the positive momentum builds. You attract more experiences throughout the day that match that frequency. Conversely, if you start the day by thinking, oh, I'm tired, and that this is going to be a hard day, the negative momentum builds and the day matches that vibe. Yep, yep. The better it gets, the better it gets. Yes, only little thought of worry isn't going to do much, but 10 minutes of worry that has momentum. Deliberately choose thoughts that feel good until they carry you. Yep. Thoughts are seeds, momentum is the growth. Whatever you water with attention expands, becomes dominant, and eventually shows up as your reality. That is absolute truth from what I've experienced, and I was able to pull myself out of negative momentum pretty quickly within a few minutes of thinking positive thoughts deliberately. And like gratitude was probably the quickest way to get myself out of negative momentum. It would release, like the negative emotion would release through tears, and then I would instantly feel better. So I would absolutely recommend gratitude to get yourself out of negative momentum instantly. Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's see. So I want to see more examples of building a positive momentum. So Abraham says often the positive momentum is just choosing one better feeling thought after another until they start to carry you naturally. So let's see. I like that I woke up rested. I love how cozy my bed feels. I'm grateful for this new day. I wonder what good surprises are lined up for me today. One thing that I started writing for myself is that my day is filled with miracles and magic. And it actually, when I do that, when I write that, that actually feels that way. Like the universe starts bringing more experiences that actually make me either laugh or make me feel really good, or I would think of something good, and it just keeps amplifying. So I really love that. Okay. Life always shows me things to smile about when I'm open to them. Yes. So you always want to write and think things as if they were already your reality. So if I say I am unconditional love and I think to myself that consistently I shift into that state of being after a minute, and then I feel that way towards myself and others, and it feels absolutely amazing. So you have to feel it first, you have to think it first, then you experience it. That way, you're generating that state of being yourself instead of expecting conditions to change for you to feel that way. And even then, it's not really sustainable because you're not dependent or relying on anything outside of yourself. Okay. Say, I enjoy solving problems. It feels good when I find an efficient way to do something. I love that my skill keeps improving. My contributions are valuable. The more I align with joy, the more opportunities flow to me. So then, as you think that that activates in your vibration, then whatever is a representative of what you were thinking activates in your subconscious. And then, let's say you enjoy solving problems. Well, when you think that way and when you feel that way, that means you're going to attract something to solve. You see what I'm saying? You say, I enjoy solving problems, you will be attracting that into your reality because that's what you say you enjoy, that will come to you. It feels good when I find an efficient way to do something. If you say and think it, then there will be something to find an efficient way to do something, you know? So it's like something will show up for you to do that. Does that make sense? And then I love that my skills keep improving. Again, you will be doing something to allow yourself the opportunity to improve your skills. So whatever you say always manifests for you to experience that. Whatever you say it's like there will always be an opportunity for you to do that which you say you do or love or enjoy, or the other way around. Whatever you say is always, it's like a genie says, your wish is my command, and that's what the universe says. Whatever you say is your wish is my command. Whether you say you like it or not, it's like a constant wish. So your emotion is always saying to the universe, more of this, please. And it doesn't matter what emotion it is. Whatever the emotion is what you're going to constantly receive the more you feel that emotion. So you have to learn to shift to the emotion that you prefer so that that is constantly active in your vibration. Okay, so I appreciate how kind my friend was yesterday. And then you can always say, like, oh, I love receiving gifts from the universe. I constantly receive gifts from the universe. I constantly receive abundance from the universe. The universe always showers me with abundance and gifts and miracles and things like that. So you always want to say something like that to yourself. That way you create the belief. That way you constantly receive something. It feels good to connect with people who understand me. Then you will connect with people who understand you. The more you write that, the more you say that, the more you think that, you will attract an experience in which someone will be able to understand you. I love that laughter comes so easily with people I care about. Again, when you say that, you will attract someone who will care about you and then you will laugh or something like that. So it's like these simple things, but what you think literally manifests in your reality. So it's just watching and observing yourself saying certain things and how you feel about them, because that's exactly what then manifests. And dun-dun-dun. And then you want to always talk to your body like it's perfectly healthy. Your mind is perfectly healthy and balanced. And the more you tell yourself that, that will become your belief. That will be dominant in your vibration. And that's what will be manifesting as your default state of being. And this is a perfect example. I love how energized I feel after moving or stretching, but you can also say, like, I feel so energized as I wake up. And you can set the intention to feel energized as you wake up before you go to sleep. You can set the intention to transmute emotions or beliefs in your sleep, and you can have like a lucid dream where ascended masters will help you transmute those things. So I would write that down. I write down that I set the intention to transmute whatever the emotions are. I write them down and then say with ascended masters, angels, archangels, higher self, and transmute them back to love. Okay, my body is wise. And I would say, not seeking, but I would say my body is already balanced, perfectly balanced and healthy. So that you say exactly what is already in your reality, so that you were not in a constant state of seeking as if it weren't here, but you want to say that it's already here. So you always want to phrase it in the way that you want to experience it. Yeah, the more I care for myself with love, the better I feel. Yes. Yes. And so you will notice that the more you write about these things as how your reality is unfolding, like after a week you do that, you will notice a shift in your choices. You will notice you feel differently. You will notice you think differently. So you can set the intention also and like write it down that you're detached from everyone else's energies and they're detached from you. That will help you stay grounded. Oh, there you go. I love when synchronicities show me I'm on the right track. My higher self is always guiding me. I feel supported by the universe. I love remembering that joy is my natural state. Yes, absolutely. All these wonderful things. Yes, the trick is to catch a good feeling thought early and keep adding to it until it carries you. Yes, I love that so much. I think that's a pretty cool idea. All this fun stuff. Okay, so if we talk about Neville Goddard and his teaching, so he says imagination creates reality. So anything that we imagine literally creates reality. Any thought externalizes. Visualizing is not daydreaming, it's a conscious recreation. What you vividly imagine and emotionally accept as true in your inner world will externalize in your outer world. Yes, definitely. So he expresses this idea as, so he says, enter a relaxed state. You can just lay down or something and kind of close your eyes. I actually have a much easier time visualizing on the go with my eyes open, but it depends on what state I'm in. So if I'm like almost in like sleeping state, like in between sleep and just barely awake, then I can really visualize something to a great extent. In meditation, it also helps. But I'm so used to visualizing like with my eyes open that I'm just doing it on the go. I just find it easier for myself because I've been doing it at work so much that I just got used to it. Okay, so he says the best times are before sleep at night or just waking in the morning. And that's when you're still like in theta state and just moving into alpha state, like just barely awake, really. This quiets the conscious mind and makes the subconscious more impressionable. Yes, so what helps me get into a deeper state, even in meditation, what I do is I would slowly and calmly, in a soothing voice, in my thoughts, or out loud, like in meditation, usually in my thoughts, I would say that I'm moving deeper and deeper and deeper into theta or deeper into trance state. And then I kind of lower my voice. So I'm just going deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper into trance. I'm moving deeper and deeper into trance. I relax. I'm very relaxed and calm, calm and relaxed. And I move deeper and deeper into trance. And so as I continue doing that with that voice, like just even slower than I'm doing it right now, like calm and relaxed, deeper and deeper into trance, deeper and deeper into trance. So I keep repeating that in my mind. My conscious mind starts really relaxing and focusing on what I'm saying. And then every other thought just falls away. And then I go deeper into theta and start channeling. So that's what helps me get into a deep trance state. And even like when I lay down and when I do visualization, I can do the same thing. So that's what helps me. Okay. Choose a scene that implies your wish is already fulfilled. So don't visualize the process or how you'll get it. So you want to visualize the end result. You don't really care about how it's going to happen. It's not your problem. It's not your responsibility. You only care for the end result. You only want to see how it's already happened, how you feel. That's it. You don't need to visualize how you're making it happen, because otherwise you're insisting on a specific way of doing it, but the universe knows exactly how things need to happen. So you always want to envision the end result of it, so that the universe brings you exactly what's in alignment with what you want. Because then that would be the path of least resistance. Okay, so if you want a new home, don't visualize searching for homes. Visualize already living in it, sitting on your couch, looking out the window, feeling it's yours. You have to feel it. You really have to find a feeling of what that would be like. Use sensory detail. See it, feel it, hear it, even smell and taste if possible. The more senses involved, the deeper the impression on the subconscious. Feel the emotion of fulfillment. So the scene is only effective if you feel the satisfaction, gratitude, or joy of the wish fulfilled. This is the novel's famous principle. Feeling is the secret. Persist until it feels real. So repeat the visualization consistently, especially as you drift into sleep. Over time, the subconscious accepts it as fact and the outer world conforms. So he says, living in the end. Imagine and assume the reality of the wish already fulfilled. Do not wonder how it will happen. Remain in the end state. The bridge of incidents, unexpected events, and synchronicities will unfold naturally to lead you there. The subconscious accepts impressions. So the subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and imagined. What it accepts as true becomes your lived experience. And then revision technique. You can change past events by reimagining them differently. And that's exactly what helped me. Like I started revising past experiences and seeing them as different. And I released so much trauma using that, actually. That helped me a lot. As if that never even happened. And that's funny because someone, I think like a year ago or probably more than that, someone came through in a reading with Jenny and told me that that would be one way to do it. It was like visualize a completely different outcome, and that would help rewrite the story. So okay, at night replay an event by see it unfold the way you wish it held. This impresses a new reality on the subconscious, which reshapes future outcomes. Right, so it won't be replaying whatever happened in the past in the future events. It will be completely rewritten, and because you will have a positive emotion in it, it will just release it completely, because it won't need to manifest again to be like teaching you to accept it and love it, because you already do it in visualization, but it's as if you did it in your reality. And that's why it works to release certain emotions and beliefs in your sleep state, because it's the same thing. You're still working in your subconscious. So it doesn't really matter how you work in your subconscious so long as you work with it. So it doesn't matter if it's in a dream or if it's in your visualization or in your wake hours or whatever. It's the same thing. The subconscious just doesn't know the difference. Okay, so assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption until it becomes your reality. Feeling is the secret. Change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. So, for example, let's see. For example, let's see. So, here is an example of visualization. So, we already kind of talked about it. Okay, if I want a studio and I want to be a professional podcaster living in LA, for example. So I want to visualize not building a studio or getting the equipment. I want to imagine the final. So, like, let's say being congratulated by a guest after recording or leaning back in my chair in my own studio with a satisfied smile. Then I want to see the warm studio lights, microphones, recording sign glowing red, the city skyline of Los Angeles visible from my window. Then I want to hear the laughter and voices of my guests as I wrap up a meaningful discussion. Then maybe the sound of clapping or the click of the recording stop button. Then I want to touch the smooth surface of the table, the comfort of the studio chair, or the handshake hug from a guest. Then want to smell fresh coffee brewing in the corner, or the clean studio scent of polished wood and electronics. Then want to feel a deep satisfaction, gratitude, and joy in my chest. So then feel the excitement of the conversation you just had. Feel the pride of being in your own studio in Los Angeles. Feel the joy of doing what you love and being recognized for it. So then this emotion is the seal that impresses the subconscious. Then keep the scene short, like 15-30 seconds. I guess thanks you. This was such an amazing conversation. I loved being here. You smile, look around your studio, and replied, I'm so glad you came. This is why I love doing this. Feel it real. Let it loop a few times until you drift to sleep. Okay, so why this works. So the subconscious accepts what feels real. By sleeping in the feeling of already being a professional podcaster in Los Angeles, your subconscious begins to reorganize your reality. So the bridge of incidences, synchronicities, opportunities, people, resources unfolds naturally to carry you into that lived experience. So the key is pick a moment that would only happen if your dream were already real. Live it inwardly until it feels like memory. The outer world must follow. So basically, you have to focus on the vision so much that you close your eyes to what is happening right now. You have to completely let go of what is happening here and now and literally see in your eyes living the reality that you want. And as you close your eyes, that will become your reality as the synchronicity keeps bringing you more and more of the stuff that you need in order for that to happen. But all you have to do is just do the things that excite you. That's all you really have to do. It's like you will get an inspiration to do and like act on specific things. Even though you don't know why you're excited about it, but you will get an inspiration. So it's important to act on that inspiration, like me streaming right now. Like all of a sudden this inspiration came in, I had to act on it, you know? And that's kind of contributing to my vision. So if I don't act on the inspiration, I'm not really allowing for it to happen, you know? So I have to like take steps that the universe is like bringing to me as I get into that excited state. So it's very important, as I was saying, to be in that state of being, because You see, the inspiration came in as I got myself into that state of being. Before I was in that state of being, I was thinking about taking a nap. You see the difference? Once I got into excitement, all of a sudden there is this inspiration because the excitement that I felt in the vision has to match the state of being I'm in right now. So if I'm excited in the vision and I'm excited right now, all of the inspiration that's coming into me, right? It's matching my vision, so I have to act on it so that it propels me in that sense, you know? Because if I'm just imagining but not taking any action, it's not going anywhere, you know? I still have to like act on the inspiration. So that's why it's important to maintain that state of being of excitement so that the universe brings you exactly what you need so that you move in that direction consistently. Let's see. Okay, action for Bashar is central. He says excitement is the physical translation of your higher self's guidance. When you visualize and feel the state of being you prefer, the natural next step that excites you is the inspired action. Bashar emphasizes don't take action from obligation, worry, or shoulds, only act when it resonates. If you visualize being a podcaster and suddenly feel excited to research microphones or call someone about recording, that is the higher self moving you. Okay. So then Abraham Hicks says inspired action is the action taken after alignment. They say most people try to force action without lining up vibrationally first, which feels hard and doesn't flow. So in their model, they say align your vibration through visualization, appreciation, and feeling good, then let the momentum build. Then impulses will arise that feel natural, easy, and joyful, and those are inspired actions. So they say when you're in alignment, action feels like effortless and is delicious. After visualizing your podcast, you suddenly feel eager to reach out to a potential guest and it feels fun rather than stressful. So that's inspired action. Neville says action flows naturally through the bridge of incidents. He says you don't need to figure out how the desire will manifest. Once the subconscious accepts the wish fulfilled, it arranges the sequence of events that lead you there. You'll find yourself doing things naturally, but they won't feel forced. They'll feel like the obvious or enjoyable step. Neville rarely calls it inspired action, but he describes that you will move across a bridge of incidents leading to the fulfillment of your assumption. After assuming the state of being a podcaster, you might unexpectedly meet someone at a cafe who invites you to to tour a studio. That's the bridge at work, and your inner state drew you there. Yes. All three agree when you embody the state of your desired reality through excitement, alignment, or assumption, the right actions reveal themselves naturally. So, inspired action feels effortless, not forced, exciting or joyful, obvious like the next natural step. And this is very different from taking action out of fear, doubt, or desperation, that's for sure. So it's the natural overflow of being in the vibrational state of your fulfilled desire. So Bashar says excitement equals compass. Abraham says alignment first, then action, and then Neville says the bridge of instance moves it. And I totally agree with alignment comes first because once you're in alignment, then you actually feel like doing about anything. If you're not in alignment, you know, even if you try to do something, it just doesn't go, you know. So that's why it makes sense to get yourself there through like gratitude or appreciation and things like that and then go from there. So there is that. Let's see. And the same thing for the job, like whatever job you want, just imagine yourself in the new job already, just doing the thing. Or being in a relationship, just imagine being in the relationship and how that relationship goes. And so you want to shift your focus away from what you don't prefer and you just focus on what you do prefer and just feel that. And then the person will be reflecting back to you your feelings instead of how they feel. Or you see, they say don't take action to fix misalignment, line up first, then act. So it's like if you want to feel good, you want to create that from within instead of doing something to make you feel good. Does that make sense? So action without alignment feels hard and produces limited results. Action after alignment feels easy, fun, and multiplies results. Your emotions are indicators of alignment. So positive feelings, you're in sync with your inner being. Negative feelings, you're resisting or contradicting your desire. Inspired action always comes from the better feeling state. So thoughts attract more like them, building vibrational momentum. When you sustain a good feeling thought, momentum gathers until action is natural. Yes. If you don't go too far down the road of negative thought, it's easy to pivot. If you do, stop, take a nap, meditate, reset before acting. I agree with that. When you're downhill pretty good, then it's best to meditate at that point. Okay. So the universe organizes cooperative components for you. Okay, inspired action is simply stepping onto the easiest path that's already lit up by your alignment. The path is always revealed when you're feeling good, and that is absolutely true. I always have clarity when I feel good. I always have clarity when I feel good. So it's best to take yourself into a place where you can feel good, and then you will have clarity about everything else. And what I write too is that I always have clarity, and I love how I have clarity about everything. And I write that down. I write down that I have epiphanies all day, every day. And then I receive epiphanies throughout the day as I'm in that state of being where I'm allowing for them to flow. So, in order for those things to happen, you always have to be in that state of being of allowance. And your emotions are always an indicator whether you're in alignment or not. Okay, the art of allowing. So this is their first phrase of being in a receptive state. Allowing means you're not pushing, forcing, or resisting. From allowing, action flows as a joyful impulse rather than a chore. The vortex is Abraham's term for the vibrational reality where all your desires already exist. And because all outcomes already exist, basically, all you have to do is just align yourself vibrationally by letting go of the beliefs that don't resonate with you anymore, aligning your thoughts and feelings so that you're just in that state of being, and then everything, the universe is already like, it knows what you want. It's just once you're in that state of being, everything can finally flow. Okay. The vortex is Abraham's term for the vibrational reality where all your desires already exist. Visualization, appreciation, and alignment place you in the vortex. Inspired action is simply the physical translation of your alignment with the vortex. Before entering a new segment of your day, meeting, call, project, set an intention for how you want it to feel. So that's what I was saying earlier. Like when you're doing something, you want to set the intention of how it's going to go for you. This prepares your vibration so that when action arises, it's aligned. So before recording a podcast, you set the intention I want ease, flow, and fun in this conversation. There you go. And then Abraham says if it feels heavy, it's resistance. If it feels light, it's guidance. Inspired action always carries a sense of ease, curiosity, or fun, even if it stretches you. Oh, yes. And then they were saying about the 5 step process. So, contrast causes you to ask. That's where desire is born. Source always answers immediately. You align and allow the manifestation where inspired action flows. Then you enjoy the manifestation. You continue expanding into more. Then your step 3, allowing, is where inspired action lives. And right, because that's when you get the inspiration and stuff. So, let's say everyday example. You visualize your podcast. Instead of forcing yourself to hustle all day, you meditate, align, and feel excitement about it. While in that good feeling place, you suddenly get the idea to reach out to a friend. That one that one call leads to a guest connection, which leads to an unexpected studio opportunity. So that's Abraham's version of inspired action, not something you push, but something you receive when you're aligned. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, that's like a lot of information to work through, but it's like the more you break it down for yourself and like practice with it every day and start with your thoughts and see what thoughts you have and how they make you feel, is you want to redirect and ask yourself, well, what thought would make me feel good right now? What thoughts are available to me right now that can lead me to excitement? What thoughts can lead me to passion? What thoughts can lead me to joy? Like, what thoughts are available to me? You know, you just ask yourself those questions and repeat it in your mind quite a few times, and then you see what shows up. And then based on that, you're like, oh, does that feel good? Okay, what's the next one? What's the next one? What else is available? What else is available? You just keep asking and asking and asking, and then see how your excitement keeps building, you know? So just do that for 17 seconds, and then you start the momentum. As the momentum goes, you do that for what, 68 seconds, they were saying? Then you're amplifying and strengthening the momentum. So it comes down to just practicing it every day and seeing what thoughts generate what feelings, and just shifting away from that as soon as you notice. So it comes down to, first step is to notice what thoughts do what, and then just redirect yourself to what you want to experience and ask yourself how you can get there. You can write it down and ask, like, universe, show me what options are available to me. Show me what thoughts can get me to a state of being of passion or excitement or joy, and just continue writing down like what it is that you want to experience, and just say that it's already done in your reality. And then just play the what if game. It's like, what if I was excited right now? What would I be doing? Or how would that feel for me? Like, where would I be? Who would I be talking to? Like, you know, and you just start playing the game with yourself, and then that game just keeps amplifying, so you're already shifting yourself in that momentum where more keeps coming in. You get more inspired, more creative. So just keep writing that you're constantly inspired, creative, abundant, loving, that you're loved. All the miracles just show up in your reality, magic unfolds, like all those beautiful things. And you just keep writing and telling yourself that story, so that that story becomes dominant in your vibration. The more you do it, the more it will be by default, and the more you will feel like that, and the old story will follow in naturally. So that's the key here. So I think that's pretty cool. But like I said, that takes practice. But that's cool practice, because if you really care about how you feel, you will do it, you know? If you care about how you feel, you will do it. To some people it may seem like a lot of work, but you know what? Would you rather feel bad, or would you rather feel good? If you want to feel good, then you'll make it happen. What's the difference? You're, making an effort and it doesn't work, and then you get frustrated, or you can make an effort towards something that can feel effortless, and then just it will run automatically for you as you create that belief. So it really comes down to your desire to feel good. And as you continue and dedicate yourself to that desire, you will find how actually easy it is for you, because once you approach it with curiosity and confidence, because the universe will always respond to you once you ask for it. It's just once you approach it with curiosity, there is already a sense of excitement and intrigue there. Once you feel that excitement and intrigue, the universe instantly delivers. So if you really can get yourself in that place of curiosity, you will find how easy it is for you to manifest anything in your reality, really. Let's see, I'm gonna look at what else Bashar had going on there. And I remember I was writing down for a while, like every day, that my body was perfectly healthy, or that I was perfectly healthy and balanced. I was writing that down multiple times a day, every day. And my body feels really healthy. Like I feel so much healthier because I feel like that program is running automatically. I don't even write that down anymore. I just feel it already. I think I worked through this one already. Oh, like we're talking like circumstances don't matter. Only a state of being matters. Reality is a mirror reflecting your vibration, beliefs, and choices. Responsibility means recognize that if you don't like what's reflected, change your state, not the mirror. And so it's like he was given this example of like looking in the mirror and wanting the mirror, the reflection in the mirror to smile back at you first, but that's not how that works. You have to smile at it first in order for it to smile back at you. And so that's the physical reality. You have to smile at it first and then it will smile at you. Because if you're trying to force it to smile at you, it's not going to work that way. And like it's saying, this isn't blame, it's empowerment. You are the chooser, not a victim. That's so true. Okay, then you're the creator of your own reality. Your point of attraction, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs determines what comes into your experience. And responsibility is about using your emotional guidance systems. If it feels bad, it shows you're out of alignment. If it feels good, you're in alignment. So they emphasize self sovereignty. You can't create in someone else's experience, nor can they in yours. So only if you believe that someone can affect you, then they can affect you. Because you then match their frequency and then you start experiencing what it is that you believe that's happening for them, and they can do the same thing with you. But you have to match their frequency. That's the only way you can really experience their reality. Yeah, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. That is absolutely true. Once I started changing my belief system, the things that I started coming across changed too. Like literally everything that comes into my reality is not what was coming to me previously. Now I'm focusing on what brings me joy and what inspires me. So everything that's a representative of that comes into my reality consistently. So that's pretty cool. But I had to change my belief systems about what I wanted to experience and what I was experiencing first. I had to shift my thoughts, shift my feelings. Yeah, the outer world is a reflection of your inner assumptions. Yes. Responsibility means accepting that your assumptions, not chance, fate, or others, create the conditions of your life. Yes. If you revise assumptions, the bridge of incidents will shift accordingly. Yep. So life mirrors your inner state. Responsibility is not about self blame, it's about claiming your creative power. By changing beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and assumptions, you change experiences. And then say your podcast doesn't get the traction you hope for. So instead of thinking the world is against me, shift to excitement. See it as feedback that you can refine your expression. Then Abraham would say, notice your vibration. Are you acting from doubt or joy? Realign with fun, appreciation, and momentum before taking new steps. And then Neville would say, revise your inner self concepts from struggling podcaster to successful, fulfilled podcaster. Assume the end and persist. So you really have to focus on the idea that something is successful, that you are successful, because whatever it is that we're manifesting in our reality, primarily we are manifesting so that we can show to ourselves that we are worthy of it. It's not the thing itself that matters, but it's showing us that we're good enough to have it, that we are worthy of having it, that, it just basically reflects how we are in relation to that thing that we want, you know. But if you realize that you are already worthy, that you are good enough, you don't have to work hard for it, it will be easy to receive, and the universe will show you the path of least resistance to receiving it. It's just that you have to believe that you don't have to earn it, that it's already yours. It's just that you have to live that reality as if it was already here. That's all. The universe doesn't care how you get it, it just delivers it because you believe that you can have it. That's all, because you are the creator and you simply assume that it's yours, you believe then that it's yours, and you attract accordingly. There is only attraction in your reality. There is no assertion, there is only attraction. And you always attract based on your thoughts and feelings and beliefs. I feel like my voice starts going sideways already, so I might stop for tonight and there, and then continue with some more information later on. Maybe what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stream more tomorrow. See what we come up with. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. That was absolutely wonderful to talk to you and have fun. Thank you for this opportunity, and yeah, I love you all. Have a good night.